My name is Deborah Parody, and I'm the owner of West Avenue Barbershop. A lot of conversations take place in my barber chair, and one particular conversation has made a lasting impact on my life.
When we moved here in the summer of 2000, one of the first things I had to do was to find a place to get my hair cut. Talked to several guys, and one guy in particular, Michael Jordan, suggested that I needed to go to the Georgia Avenue Barbershop downtown North Augusta and ask for a lady named Deb. And that's what I did. And I noticed that Deb Parody always had lots of people lined up to get her hair cut there with her. And that was the first opportunity for me to meet her. And we began what began a long-term relationship together, friendship, obviously. My sons also got their hair cut there. And through those years, we began to build a relationship that was not just a relationship as a barber and a person, but also a really good friendship. And one of the things that I kind of noticed in Deb was that she had a true spiritual hunger. Oftentimes, she would ask me about the books that I was reading because she knew I was in the ministry. And through the course of the years, really we began to build a relationship and a friendship. And also really a lot of spiritual conversation began to occur as I would sit in the barber chair.
When I first met Steve, he came to the barbershop recommended by someone across the street off Georgia Avenue Barbershop. And he brought his whole family in, and the kids were really young at that time, and Steve's hair was a lot longer and a lot darker then. But anyhow, I got to know Steve as a customer first, and then a really good friend afterwards. I knew that he was working at the church and was very involved, and I was curious. So I, began to question, and he'd come in with a book, and I asked him what he was reading, and oftentimes he'd share it with me, or he'd buy me a copy of my own for Christmas. So our friendship just took off from there, and as time went on, I just became more and more curious about what he did. And he always came in with a happy disposition, always the same kind of guy, and to this day he's the same way. And I was just curious, where is that coming from? I wanted to know more, and I knew it wasn't just Steve Davis. There was something in his heart that I was curious about.
After we planted True North Church, it was interesting because a lot of Deb's customers started attending True North, and she started asking me more and more about True North and what we were and why we were so different, and just started that conversation. And I knew that she attended a church locally, so I really wasn't worried about her coming to True North. But the more that she asked me and more that she had probed, why do you do this? What are you doing there? I finally would just tell her, I said, why don't you just come and check us out on an odd hour when your church doesn't meet, and that way you know a little bit and you can maybe understand what's going on with your customers and why they're talking about what God is doing. And all along the way, it's interesting because I never really asked Deb where she was in her relationship with the Lord, but we just kind of grew in a relationship like that where we could talk about things of God. I knew she was seeking the Lord, and I knew she was very curious about True North, and so I can remember oftentimes I'd say, well, just come and check us out and see what God is doing.
Having heard a lot about the church during our haircuts, during Steve's haircut, I decided to go and take a look. And a girlfriend of mine said, just come and see what it's all about. She had been attending True North for a couple years, and she's a dear friend of mine, so we went together on a Sunday morning. And it was very different for me in the beginning. I'd listened to contemporary music before, but I really didn't get the words. I didn't get the whole story, so I continued, and I knew there was something there for me. God was working. I could identify with a lot of experiences that I had heard. People would constantly talk to me about what they had been through when they were going to church or before they went to church, and they were reconnecting with God in their relationship and their spiritual journey when they attended True North. So I thought, well, it's my turn. So I remember the day that I finally got it, and I finally felt freedom having him in my heart. He's always been there, but I kept ignoring it. I kept wondering, what's this life all about? I'm working so hard. to get to see him once I leave this world. How do I get there? How do I know I'm going there? So one Sunday morning, I think it was the 26th of February, Steve was talking about the cross and how there were two sides to the cross, the left and the right. And he explained how you cannot earn, you cannot work for your salvation. But that's how I was living, because that's what I understood. That's all I ever understood. And somehow it didn't click with me. There was something missing. So that day that he spoke of the cross, and I saw him go from one side to the other, where the other you're free, your salvation is already earned. There's nothing in the world you can do to earn your own, because someone already died for you. And that day, something happened. I felt the freedom, the weight was gone off my shoulders. I say that and I get emotional about it. To this day, I still do. And my customers have noticed a huge change in me. It's worth it. When you hear him calling, he chooses the moment, and you just have to be ready. You never know. He's there for us, for all of us, and I'm thankful that he's there for me. God brought me here, and today I will be baptized. I'm ready to shed my old life and put on my new life, and I'm ready to let the world know that I'm blessed.